I really liked House of the Dragon season 1. I still do. Okay, that's probably not the right terminology for it. And in the case of season 2, I probably like it more than a bunch of other people that are out there. I've seen the videos start to crop up recently about, oh, season 2 was a disaster. I wouldn't go that far. Obviously, it ended with a wet fart because Warner Brothers is infinitely stupid by chopping off the last couple of episodes because, hey guys, we can go ahead and turn around the seasons quicker if we do less content. And it's like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense. If you're going to have season 3 come out, just kick off the season with a big bombastic battle, totally makes sense. And especially if you're going to turn that around in like a year or two. But here he has a disappointing news about the House of the Dragon season 3 release date. Yeah, I'm kind of done being excited or carrying any water. Okay, if it was perceived like that before in the case of this show, yeah, I'm kind of done with that. Between this and also comments from the cast, it's like it's just really tough to care, man. This is why it took so long for me to come around to just simply watching Game of Thrones, which after going through the entire season, I probably got to watch it again. But as it sits right now, I think it's the most overrated show I have ever watched. Like the first 2 seasons, yeah, they're pretty good. The first season particularly, like I know a lot of people hold it in high regards as one of the best and tightest written seasons of television ever committed to film. I would say it's like an 8. I think that it's really good, and it obviously is the strongest full season in all of Game of Thrones, but let's not pretend like it's better than any of the seasons of The Sopranos. Just recently going through Spartacus, I actually, over this weekend, I'm going to be finishing up Vengeance and starting into War of the Damned. I've got some problems with Vengeance, but I really liked Gods of the Arena, and Blood and Sand is like fucking head and shoulders ahead of any season of Game of Thrones. It's just like that first season, man, like Blood and Sand is really fucking good. But I digress. I would say House of the Dragon season 2 is probably, like, if I say that season 1 and then season 2 of Game of Thrones are the best of the series, the overarching Song and Fire verse, that's the best output that they made. I would probably put House of the Dragon season 1 on par with season 2, and depending on rewatches, I might put it just below season 1 as the second best thing that they've ever done, because that first season is really good. But now you're just killing all momentum. So even if you do kick off with like this huge battle, and then season 3 is supposed to hit a lot of big plot points and plot beats, I don't really care at this point, because this is a series and it's adapted by somebody who's also got the same level of work ethic and output quality. So given this show has already been greenlit for 4 seasons, like it's probably going to be 2030. It will at least be 2030 by the time everything wraps up. And it's a problem with TV series in general. I think a Critical Drinker this week just put out a video about how long it takes for shows to just go from season to season, how it wasn't even that long ago, and actually Spartacus is a good example of that. Even when you had your lead actor die of cancer, you can continue on with your story even if you try to sidetrack it for a second with a half season prequel series. You can put out those 3.5, 4 seasons of shows on a consistent basis. Meanwhile, House of the Dragon season 1 came out in 2022, and now we're not going to get season 3 for, well, let's take a look. In a recent Hollywood Reporter profile, House of the Dragon actress Olivia Cooke, it's been revealed that production on season 3 won't even be finished until October. Oh shit. Production leads into post-production, and that is way longer than you might think. We can look at season 2 to calculate this. House of the Dragon season 2 started filming in April of 2023, ended September of 2023, and the show was not actually released until June of 24, 8.5 months later. So when filming wraps in October, look to at least June, very likely going to be later than that still, because season 1 came out, well, it was running concurrently, and in fact it geniusly overlapped a week before the premiere and a week after it ended with Rings of Power season 1, and that one from September to October in the case of Rings of Power. But obviously House of the Dragon would have started last week of August if I recall, but that's when they had 10 episodes. Now these 8-episode seasons that were supposed to be turned around a lot quicker. That's what we were promised, but that's not what we have seen delivered so far. But yes, it's going to be over a 2-year gap for this to happen, because I guess, like, I know a little bit about the source material. I know the big events that are going to be happening, and there's going to be a lot of effects that are required, a lot of big battles, a lot of sets to construct and destroy. But then there's also the concerns and the bitching, whining, and complaining of the cast, which, yeah, going back to Olivia Cooke, she says that women get labeled difficult or a bitch for speaking up about sex scene boundaries. A good intimacy coordinator will become your voice. Oh, bro, just shut the fuck up. It was implied that your character got her box eaten in the beginning of the first season. Then you had some goofy cripple, yak off to your feet in the worst episode of season 1. So I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. When I talk about actors and actresses complaining about sex scenes, again, I bring it up. Spartacus. There's so much weird shit, and especially in those first couple episodes of Vengeance, where they're just wandering through a whorehouse, and yeah, there you go. That was the first time I was watching the show, and in the case of Blood and Sand and Gods of the Arena, like, there's still a lot of sex going on, but that was the first time in Vengeance where it's like, that seems a little bit gratuitous. Everything else kind of made sense, but that was the first time I was like, did we really needed to see all those shots? But especially for it really just kind of leading up to a very minor plot beat. Kind of seemed like you were dragging out something over there. I got problems with Vengeance. Well, let's go back to another show that I have problems with. But House of the Dragon actor Olivia Cooke recently told the iPaper that women in the film and television industry are still being labeled as difficult when they speak up about setting boundaries during a sex scene. Oh, fuck. Like, that shit. Like, I would also like to see this, because I could just say, just simply as an anecdotal viewer, really seems like we have seen a massive uptick in just naked man ass and dongs hanging out all over the place, and a lot fewer titties and nice asses running across the screen. I would like to see somebody, collaborate all the numbers on that, but it really seems like things are going in one direction as opposed to the other, but still, women most affected. Embarrassment is amplified for those who are just starting out and don't have the vocabulary to say what they're comfortable with, and for women who will often get labeled as difficult or a bitch for speaking up. A good intimacy coordinator will sense hesitation and become your voice. And I like Olivia Cooke. She was really good until like those last couple of episodes of House of the Dragon season 2. But you are just, like, you're talking out of your ass. Cooke said that while sex scenes can play important roles in certain projects because showing intimacy, passion is an integral part of reflecting the human experience, the filming of them can feel like a chunk of yourself has been taken. You're not actually getting fucked on screen, you idiot. It's amazing to me that people had to just fudge their way through these scenes because those people existed. Oh my god. It's just this type of sterilized storytelling of up their own ass actors and actresses that just fucking ruin a show. Like, you can track the downfall of Game of Thrones for a multitude of reasons, okay? They're just, not JD, but the Rings of Power idiots. Yeah, Dan and Dave, as they started to get less and less source material to adapt, their writing quality would go directly into the ground. But in those first early episodes and seasons of Game of Thrones, you had Emilia Clarke. Not like I was really gagging to see her naked, but she was on screen. And yeah, she had one of those implied sex scenes that were uncomfortable, but also very necessary to her character. And if we didn't have that, well, we wouldn't understand her character arc, even though she got really floopy, and I was never a big Daenerys fan to begin with. There were tits out all the time, but then as, season 5, season 6, and I don't even think that there was a single tit in seasons 7 or 8, by the time that came around and everybody started to get too up their ass and the writing was falling apart. This is what happens. But then again, as long as these theoretical women are taken care of, well, that's all that matters. Even if it means delaying a production by inviting in a bunch of worthless people like intimacy coordinators just to make actors and in this case specifically actresses, feel better about a role. Shut the fuck up and make the show already. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Coswell, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.